Hey, my peeps, how you doing? RF's killing us softly. Anybody see the Hunger Games? Watch that series? You should. It depicts a lot of the elements that are going on in our world. I'd say today, but it isn't just today. It's been going on for a long time. Like hundreds of years, thousands if you leave this continent. Uh, it's gonna take young and old dying. Like it's gonna take little kids getting killed. It's gonna take old, elderly getting killed to motivate the masses. And even then, some people are so fucked up in their fucking head that they're gonna, we'll have to take them out too. They'll be a problem. We've seen that in these protests, right? See that in the comments of videos. You see that on the news. Not that I watch the news, because you couldn't fucking pay me enough to listen to that shit. The I'll tell you what, the way we're doing these protests, the way the people are doing these protests, it's only good for one thing. And you want to know what it is? It's changing the laws to eliminate protests. They ain't fucking good for anything other than that. People show up all peaceful. You know what? The cops don't care about peaceful. They look for excuse to knock somebody in the head, shoot them with pepper spray, rubber bullets, CS gas. They have all these toys and they want to use them. And they'll use them. They don't have any problem using them on peaceful people because they're not going to get anything back, right? Because they don't like using them as much when you're standing there with a freaking an axe, you know, standing there with your 308. They aren't so brave then. Then they think about, well, what am I actually doing here, and what should I actually do in life? That's what makes them think. They ran over an old lady in Ottawa with a horse. Nobody really gives a fuck. And for the record, they actually ran over two people. Only one old lady keeps showing up on, but two people were run over by horses. Those aren't little horses either. Those are big fucking horses. Anyways, the every protest, that's all. That's what it does. That's what it does. They're changing laws to tighten our restrictions. So what you're doing isn't useless. It's helping our uh, enslavement. It's helping our uh, handlers. Does fucking nothing for our kids. Does nothing for our future, except for make it tougher. Even the auditors, the same thing. You know, my boy TNT, love you, man. Totally respect everything you're doing. But you have a perfect situation actually going on. The with that Odessa broad, she wants to change legislation so that you can't go in there. And the left is no different than the right. Nobody different. There's nobody different on that panel. And that chick, the counselor that defended you, I can give her the benefit of the doubt, but I know better. I can see right through her. I can see through them all. listen, you don't get to stay in those positions if you're a logically thinking person, a critically thinking person. They do not get to stay. Family members of mine made it to council and lasted one term because they, my family members were no nonsense, hardworking, critical thinking people that knew how to solve problems. That isn't how it goes. The people in place of these politicians are trained to lag out problems, create new ones, uh, build higher fences. It's a no-brainer, really. That's all these protests do. A peaceful protest never fucking solved anything, except for let the cops and security guards fucking play with their toys against innocent people, men, women, children, elderly. They don't care. They don't care. Uh, hashtag Standing Rock. 2015, 2016. Just watch what the cops and private security did to innocent protesters, peaceful protesters. It's astonishing. I did so much organization for them. I worked so hard for that protest. I made a difference. Like I make a difference for lots of different groups over the years. But with time, my comprehension keeps on growing and my perspective keeps on growing and changing, and uh, my knowledge is constantly evolving. And I know and I can see clearly now these protests, the auditors aren't enough to even make a dent in any situation. You know, in Vietnam, when the kids were protesting, get pepper sprayed and billy clubbed across the head and all this kind of stuff, that's what ended the war. It wasn't um, anybody in the office. It wasn't anybody in Parliament. It wasn't anybody in Congress. It was the kids that brought that war to an end. Again, a war that it should have never been, that was done with Mossad and CIA killing killing Americans so they could blame it on Vietnam and go to war with Vietnam, a nation of farmers. Anybody that's looked into that knows it was Israeli bombers or fighter jets that were shooting that battleship in the Gulf of Tonkin. They did the same thing in World War II. Japanese never flew planes into there. One Japanese man could, in the 40s, would have kicked the shit out of 50 American men. They were way beyond our intelligence level, like way beyond. Today, not so much. There might be a handful there because they were annexed after the World War II. Same as Hawaii or Maui, annexed. You know, they just taking out one person after another. They say only about 97 people died in that fire. Anybody knows anything knows it was way more than that. I know. Whatever the population of that place was, all the indigenous elders are gone. All the indigenous um, bloodlines controlling land are gone, or soon going to be gone. They'll never get their land back. It's a joke. They'll never get their land back. Like the natives here never got their land back. They keep on getting chiseled away, you know? Pieces keep on getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Anyways, I love you guys. Play safe. Keep your chin up. Head on a swivel. Ear to the ground. And heed my words. These protests are doing nothing more than creating legislation to stop protesting. And the legislation has already went through to make it so. Because all they have to do is say, emergency. And it's all over. And of course, that's what they're going to do. It's a fire sale, people. You know, it's coming to a neighbor here near you. Play safe, my peeps. Love you.